Hello everyone, it's Ellen. Welcome back to a new junk channel with me process video. So a bit of a fun one today. My family recently did a murder mystery night, so I'm going to be journaling about that today. It was brilliant. We all loved it, and also it's a really good excuse for me to use some of my creepy stickers and pages and pieces of ephemera that I've collected. So I recently did a Shein order and I got loads of bits that would be appropriate for Halloween, and I'm just flipping through them now so you can see them all. So I'm going to use them today because I don't always have a good excuse to use stuff like that. Usually I'm journaling about cute days out with Theo, and it doesn't really work for that. So I'm using them all today for the murder mystery night. So the first thing I've got here is the letter that we got, the sort of an invite. We got them in these beautiful brown envelopes, which I'll show you a bit more later. And I've just sort of torn out the description of the murder mystery night, and I'm going to add that to this first page, kind of like a title, I guess, just to sort of explain what the next few pages are about, I guess. So yeah, I've stuck that down on that page. I've used some of those beautiful papers that were kind of like a spider web. I've used them on the side just to back it and add a bit of texture. They're really beautiful papers. They look handmade. I'm not sure if they are, but yeah, they're stunning. I've then got my little name tag that I wore for the murder mystery night, and I've just trimmed that out a bit so I can stick that along the bottom. I've then used a couple of these Halloween style stickers, so they're sort of like poison bottles, which I thought was appropriate for a murder mystery, and a little crow with a top hat, and that's that page finished. I'm just going to staple down some of these pieces, particularly where I've got that sort of spiderweb looking paper. I'm not sure how well my double-sided tape would stick that in the long run, so I've just added some staples just for a bit of security. So this is the envelope that we got our invites in, and I want to use it to add my journaling and some photos. It was a little bit bigger than my page, so I've trimmed down both edges, but that works really well because then it kind of opens up. I love this. I've got a spare envelope because obviously Brett got one as well, and I'm going to use it again because this worked really nicely. I've stuck some photos along the bottom part of that envelope, and then I found the most gorgeous cash logbook in a charity shop for £1. It's vintage, all this beautiful vintage paper. It's not been written in at all, and it was £1. I absolutely love this. I was so happy when I found it. Such a good find. So I'm going to use that to write my journaling. I'm just again trimming that down and sticking that onto the middle part of my envelope, and yeah, I'll journal about the night. There's photos along the bottom of, we managed to get a group photo, which was brilliant, and then also I got some photos of me and Brett in our costume because I made our costumes for the murder mystery night as well. So obviously I wanted to make sure I journaled about that too. I've added all my journaling, and then I've got that space at the top of the cash book paper. So I'm going to go back through these poison bottle labels, and I'm going to trim them out and stick them all along the top. The only thing with these stickers is there's quite a large white border, which I don't enjoy, particularly when I'm adding them to a vintage paper. It just kind of doesn't look right, so I'm going to trim out most of the white edges before sticking them down. I just prefer the way that it looks, really. And yeah, they all go along the top, almost as if they're sort of like lined up along the top. I thought that worked really well. I love these stickers. They'll be perfect for Halloween as well. But yeah, I was just so excited to get to use all of my creepy stuff for today's page. So you can see that all of those stickers are along the top. I'm then going to decorate the front of this envelope a little bit, because obviously that's the part you're going to see when you open my journal. So I've used one of these. They're stickers that look like lace. I was a little bit disappointed with these just because when I ordered them I thought they were textured. They looked better on on my screen than they do in person, but they do work really well to sort of back some items. So I do use them a couple of times in this video, and I will use them again. But yeah, I thought they'd be a bit bigger, and I thought they'd actually be textured, but they're not, they're just sort of plasticky. But for the purposes of backing other pieces of ephemera, they do work quite nicely. So I've got, one of those lace stickers, and then I've got some, they're kind of like stamp stickers, but they're of what looks like haunted houses and mansions and forests. And as we were in a mansion for our murder mystery, I thought they would work really well. Unfortunately, we didn't really get to go to a mansion to do the murder mystery. We did it in my auntie's house, but it was still wonderful. Only one of us guessed the murderer. I got it completely wrong, and I was certain I knew who it was. But I got it wrong. But we had so much fun. We actually did it for my nan's 70th birthday, and she loved it. So obviously that, that was brilliant. Really enjoyed it. Before I added the envelope to the page, I just wanted to add something more to this background. The background was kind of just pink, sort of watercolour style almost, and it wasn't really going with the creepy murder mystery style. So I've added a doily behind the envelope just to break up the pink a little bit, and I'm quite happy with how that looks. I'm just going through with my little glue bottle just to stick down all those edges of the doily. That can be a bit tricky to get the doily to stay where it is. I've added a couple of word stickers to the front of that envelope as well, just sort of, I think they just say things about being with family. And then I'm going to work on the left hand page. So where I stapled the other side, the underside of the staples were poking through, which I'm not always a fan of. So I found this skull paper, and I cut it in half, and I used that just to cover up the staples, but also obviously it works as a background. Again, I don't get many excuses to use this skull paper because it is a little bit odd. So I've got a collage of photos stuck down there. So what I did is I've labelled each person's character. So it took me ages to remember what everybody was called. This was in August that I did that we did the murder mystery. So it took me ages, but I managed to find all of the character names. And I go on to do this further as well with some more of the characters. We had loads of us there actually. Such a brilliant night. I've added this lantern to the top of one of those labels, and then we're working on the next pages. So I've got a photo of me and Brett, and I'm backing that with another one of those lace stickers, and this one does actually look really nice. I kind of wish I trimmed out the border, but it looks okay. And what I'm going to do with mine and Brett's photos is actually have a description of our characters as well, because I kept all of that information, and it's quite funny. The names and the personalities that we got to portray was really good. That paper that I'm working on is a lined pattern paper, so that worked perfectly. I missed a little bit of footage, unfortunately, but you can see on the left-hand page, I added some more of those poison stickers, just to decorate around the page a bit more, and a couple of little doodles, just to fill out that space. Then on the following page, this is a flip out. I've backed the first page with some wood grain paper. It's very vintage, it's very old, so a little bit fragile. So I've just backed that first page so that it adds a little bit of stability to this fold out. I've got more photos of my family all dressed up. One of them is backed in one of the handmade papers again, which was really pretty. And I've got another label above it, and then a label on the last photo at the bottom as well, again just to add the character names of who everybody was. And I added a couple more of those sort of haunted house stickers that I love. They're very they're not very sticky though, so they need a little bit of help with some tacky glue. So you can see me here writing in my descriptions, and then we'll work on the fold out that holds the wood grain paper as a fold out, like I said, so we'll work on that page next. And here it is. I love this vintage page. It's from I think it was actually a recorder book, or it was some kind of music book, and it's just beautiful paper. So I've added two of the papers that I got from Shein, the sort of spooky Halloween style papers, and I've just used them to back the page just to fill it out a bit more. I've got 2 more collages of all of my family doing the murder mystery, so I want to add them, and I want to add more of that beautiful handmade paper. It's one of those things that I don't really want to use because it's so lovely, but I'm making myself use it because there's no point in, you know, purchasing all these things and not actually using them. So I've got one of my collages and I'm backing it with one of those handmade papers. This is just sort of a pattern paper. And then you can see that little triangle that I've got of the black sort of lace style paper. And I'm just adding a piece of that just to the corner of my photo. So, you know, it adds the texture, but I'm not using up all of the paper yet. I think you only get 1 sheet of each paper in this pack, so I was very reluctant to use it too much. The same with the next collage. I'm backing it with another one of the pattern papers, and then I'll add this white spider webby style paper to the bottom corner of that. And yeah, it just fills out those spaces a little bit more. I've got one more label to add because I missed somebody's description, my Auntie Shelley's, so I wanted to add her in there as well. And then all I want to do is fill out the gaps, so I don't like to leave too much blank space, as I've spoken about before. There's a truck, apologies. My road can be a little bit busy sometimes. There's work going on in my house as well, so yes, it can be a bit noisy. Sorry if you can hear any of that, but yeah, I think we're all finished. I hope you enjoyed this video. I found this really fun. I really enjoyed doing something a little bit different in my junk journal. So yeah, thank you all for being here, and I'll see you next week. Bye bye guys.